everybody, I'm Colin, and this is the new Mustang GTD. However, the Mustang GTD is not without its foes. Behind the GTD and all of its amazing engineering. So be sure to subscribe, hit that notification bell, like the video, because this is about to get wild. The Mustang GTD. This is what happens when a manufacturer as large as Ford gives their engineering team a race car, in this case the Mustang GT3 car, and tells them to go rogue. So now we have this, an insane track-ready weapon. The goal? Take the fight to the best of Europe. The CEO of Ford even said in the Jay Leno's Garage video on the GTD, and I quote, "I don't think that it's right that Porsche gets to have all the fun with these kinds of cars." So, they made a car that smashed the 7-minute lap time barrier on the Nürburgring and the first American car to do so. But what is the car like, and how does it stack up against its European rivals? Well, buckle up because we are just about to find out. The Mustang GTD as a road car, and being that this is basically a street legal race car, I am shocked by how comfortable this car is. Like, honestly, you really could daily this if you were in like a warm climate and you didn't get snow like we do here in northern Indiana, but it feels quite tame in a more normal mode. I'm in sport mode right now, but it feels really comfortable. So the suspension is quite plush, it's damped extremely well, and these seats are actually probably one of, if not my favorite seats that I've ever felt inside of a car. Because they're buckets, and as a taller guy, I like the buckets because they're a little bit bigger and they're meant to bolster me a little bit more than a normal comfort seat. But they're quite soft and they support me in the right places. Now it is actually shockingly quiet in here. Doing the drive-bys, I heard how loud it was on the outside and I was like, holy crap, this thing's loud. And it sounds awesome. It is one of the coolest sounding cars that I've ever been in my entire life. It sounds like an absolute monster. But in here, it sounds pretty good, but it's just not loud. And it still sounds good in here, but it's just not loud like it is on the outside. So a very interesting fact about this car is that it is an all carbon fiber body, except for the doors. The doors are metal panels because, well, just for crash impact reasons. But the rest of the car, the hood, the quarter panels, everything else is entirely carbon fiber.
And even though it has an all carbon fiber body, it still weighs 4,343 pounds, which is not exactly light. It puts it about 100 pounds heavier than the all-new Aston Martin Vanquish. But it is a very big car, it's a very big footprint, it's very wide, and it has a lot of electronic and hydraulics inside the car that probably add for that weight.
And all of that weight, while yes, you can kind of feel it, the car is really, really sharp. It is really, really hard to feel that weight. Which goes into my next point. The steering is phenomenal. front end and where it is at all times. You know exactly what it's doing, you know where it's at, and you know where you're going. It's none of that numbness that you feel in most other cars. And it is some very, very fast steering. Like, I just do that, oh, I'm in a different direction, I'm in a different direction, I'm in a different direction. It is very sharp. It is very fast steering. But as a performance car, it is absolutely phenomenal. Not only do you get that sharp steering and handling, but everything else about this car is performance oriented. So it has the 5.2 liter supercharged V8 Predator motor that was in the GT500. Except it's been tuned to make over 800 horsepower and well over 600 pound-feet of torque. And it is extremely fast. It is ridiculous how fast it is. It also has an 8-speed transaxle dual-clutch transmission. Transaxle basically means that the transmission is in the back, and what that does is it helps for better weight distribution. So not only is the car more balanced on the track, but you also have more weight on the rear tires to give you traction, powering out of corners, hammering on it, stuff like that. This car really is a feat of engineering. Speaking of feat of engineering, the suspension is probably the most impressive of them all. A short long arm front suspension is used to provide lateral stiffness and give the car the handling characteristics it deserves. While that is cool, the real marvel is in the rear. The suspension out back is an integral link, pushrod and rocker arm architecture with inboard adaptive spool valves, shock absorbers, and coilover springs that are arranged in a horizontal cross pattern and integrated with a strong racing style rear subframe. Sounds complicated? That's because it is. And it does not stop there. Not only is the architecture in and of itself complicated, it has a hydraulic system that lowers the car significantly once it is in track mode, almost instantly. Watch this. Also, the motor has been tuned for track use. So, for instance, the coolant tanks inside of the car are made of stainless steel, so it can hold more pressure. And you know what? This car has quite the road presence because it is so wide. It is so insane. There's a long hood in front of me. The car practically takes up the whole lane. It is insane. And this car has the performance package, so it adds a longer front splitter, the canards above the splitter. It also adds all the hydraulic system for the wing, the suspension, and underneath the car, actually. This is one of, if not the best transmissions I've ever felt in any car ever. It is so fast and so snappy. I'm just downright impressed. And it just wham right into the next gear, right into the next gear. It is crazy. And this has carbon ceramic Brembo brakes, and it stops this car extremely well. Yeah. And this car is on Michelin Cup 2R tires, 325 millimeter front tires and 345 wide rears. And it gives this car the grip it really needs. However, back to the whole taking the fight back to Europe thingy. I present to you Europe's finest, the 992 Porsche 911 GT3 RS. The GT3 RS. Born and bred on the Nürburgring, this is about as close as it gets to a purpose-built race car. Now, let's see how it stacks up to the GTD. This front end is absolutely phenomenal. It goes exactly where I point it. It's so darty and it feels so light. That's because it is a very light car. Now the engine in this car is extremely different to what is in the GTD. It's a 4-liter naturally aspirated flat 6 that revs all the way to 9,000 RPM. It makes over 500 horsepower and 334 pound-feet of torque. And it sounds great throughout the entire rev range. While on the surface, this and the GTD may look like very similar cars, and they do achieve the same goal, but they feel extremely different. For example, the range of use on the GTD is honestly better than this car because this is set up very, very stiff. Now it's not horrible, it's not bad, but it's set up a lot stiffer than the GTD is. Once you put them both in track mode, they're both very stiff, but if you're in sport or street mode in the GTD, it is way more comfortable, and the seats are more comfortable. It is also a lot louder in here because when Porsche made this car, they stripped out practically all of the sound deadening. And so you can hear that motor way better. Now, this car does feel way smaller than the GTD, and that's because it is. It's not as wide, it's not as tall, and it's not as long either. So you kind of have a better idea of where the car is on the road and on the track. And it steers so nicely. You have some really good feedback, and it is very darty. So you really do know where that front end is. Now this car does have the magnesium paddle shifters, so it feels so good. I don't know if you can quite hear that or if it quite comes out on camera, but it's really clicky, if that makes any sense. And speaking of shifting the car, it has a 7-speed dual clutch PDK transmission that is lightning fast, and it is even faster than the GTD. It is very, very impressive. And like I was talking about earlier, the GTD is a much more comfortable car. You can daily that car way better, other than the fact that it has no storage. And this also has no storage. So I guess it's not really a thing to compare. However, it is noteworthy. Some other noteworthy facts about the Porsche is that it makes almost 1,900 pounds of downforce and has 16-inch carbon ceramic brake rotors in the front and 15-inch carbon ceramic brake rotors in the rear. The front brakes have 6-piston aluminum monoblock calipers, and the rear brakes have 4-piston aluminum monoblock calipers. Interestingly enough, it also has a faster Nürburgring time than the GTD as well. To conclude, this is actually way harder than I initially thought it would be. The GTD is more fun to drive. It is a savage animal that the driver needs to tame. However, the Porsche is just so good and precise in just about every way possible that I cannot choose a clear winner here. So please subscribe, hit the notification bell, and comment below which one you would take.